All right, couple more seconds here, jumping into the first match of the day. KnockKnock, Gullyd3ck3l. Here on Four Lakes, let's get at it. Opening up, we got on the southeast side of the map, in the blue, Gullyd3ck3l as the Abbasid here. Opening up on berries, really interesting. You know, I'm surprised. I would have assumed a water opening.
Yeah, that is very shocking to me.
And
Maybe he just
KnockKnock
knows.
playing
Maybe
this.
I mean, I guess the contrary thought then would be maybe he's playing for just a all-in, all-or-nothing, quick feudal push and just gonna try and make the timing attack work. I don't know if it's going to though, because I mean, that's kind of the option, right? Like I've done and said that, you know, if you want, let's say for French, for instance, if you could do a French on the map like this and maybe just rush knights and get them, if you can get the timing down just right, it could be pretty effective. But that seems, I don't know if Abbasid's going to have the toolkit to manage this. I mean, they could go military wing, I suppose, send that little force up and maybe try and torch a dock, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to slow down Japanese once they get going.
Yeah, certainly a military ram rush could be the play. You're going to hit feudal much quicker than the Japanese, who are going onto water here. Gonna keep them in the Dark Age just a little bit longer. I'm excited to see this, though. I feel like it's a little off meta to not go for the pawns.
I definitely agree. A ram rush could be effective,
Not
and
a bad
it's going to come down to see if whether KnockKnock notices what's going on. And his scout's walking by right now, sees the berries, so he's going to know that his opponent's on berries, probably scratching his head right now, going, "What the heck?" And it'll be interesting to see how he responds this, if he understands that pressure is probably coming, which I imagine he has to be guessing right now that his opponent's going to do something different.
Yeah, still looks like he's committing to staying in Dark Age a bit. You take a look at the villagers at the top. Still 8 on food, 5 on wood. No movement on that gold mine yet. Meanwhile, Gullyd3ck3l almost has that 200 gold. Should have the food required very soon.
I would definitely expect military wing to come out of this. That early ram push has been very, very effective this season. And then sure enough, that's what he clicks up with.
Yep.
I feel like if you're KnockKnock, you kind of have to stay the course, right? You can't, like, your advantage in this is if you can hold this. He definitely needs to get on gold soon, which you see him doing right now.
Yeah, you see that? Taking a look right now at the rally points coming out of the House of Wisdom. Gullyd3ck3l looking to pressure that gold, looking to pressure that dock as well. I mean, Ram comes in, shuts down that dock. There's a lot of investment in Dark Age that is kind of lost at that point.
Well, it's smart that he knows which dock he started on too, right? And it doesn't really, I mean, I think the one on the south side might be a little bit closer to him, but it doesn't really matter. He knows which way he needs to go, and he's going to go and push that first. My question then is, does KnockKnock commit to the Shinobi, or does he go for the Kura Storehouse instead?
I feel like you got to go Storehouse. I don't know how much the Shinobi are going to help, especially knowing that your opponent is not on water. We do see KnockKnock coming around here with his scout. Just taking a look to see, is there a dock? Is there a dock? No, there is not.
He's not going for the Kura Storehouse. He is going for Koka Township. He will be going for the Shinobi. I think you're right. I think this is the wrong choice. I think the Storehouse might be the better way to go, but he must feel really secure in his ability to hold on to that food. But Shinobi, I don't know if one Shinobi is going to be able to handle the military that Gullyd3ck3l is going to pop out here in just a couple seconds. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to take the head-on fight.
No, certainly those two archers can do a pretty good job of kiting away any sort of Shinobi that pops out. Do you see fresh foodstuffs coming in? Gullyd3ck3l keeping 1 on gold for the technology, not going for boot camp out of the gate. Just keeping that 1 on gold. Gonna make sure he's able to produce units and keep that flood going towards the Japanese base.
Ooh, we've got a Dow coming out. Double docks for Gullyd3ck3l on the pond. He's looking to really pressure this and take control. So that Shinobi might be able to get some value if he can get on with those docks now. But that interesting play, very aggressive from Gullyd3ck3l.
Yeah, military wing units coming in. Gonna look to target that dock, take that offline as soon as possible. Do have a spear coming around to put pressure on the forge. First shinobi out. Spears in retreat, archers to move over.
Yeah, there's nothing that shinobi can do right now. I mean, this isn't that many troops. You got to remember too that these spearmen are Dark Age spearmen. The archers, of course, being feudal. But even still, that's just one too many. Even with 2 shinobi, he's gonna send them both. I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
There's the second shinobi.
And they do pretty good into the Dark Age spears, but those archers are the real problem. And some pretty good micro from Gullyd3ck3l to take care of that easily. We do see Springled ship, a junk coming out. Oh, that's an archer ship, excuse me. Coming out from KnockKnock, trying to hold this. That's going to do pretty good into those units, actually.
Ooh.
That ram's not going to get up.
Yeah, good call to retarget onto the units, not taking the fight on water. Almost was able to get a pick there. But meanwhile, Gullyd3ck3l able to get a Springled ship of his own on the pond, able to take out that archer ship. That ram is in progress. Just saw a ninja pop out of the shadows and just shank one of those units. Gullyd3ck3l has lost his forward force.
Really good hold from KnockKnock, but the damage to the eco has still sort of been done here. He's still stuck inside that dock. He has no military ships, and Gullyd3ck3l has asserted himself on the water. So I don't think it's as big of a win as Gullyd3ck3l wanted, but also this is not nothing either. And the other dock on the other side immediately being scouted out by Gullyd3ck3l as well.
Yeah, that dock is going to go up. Taking a look at the Abbasid base, we see our first production building going down. Gullyd3ck3l going into an archery range. Spending a lot of that wood on naval units. That ram, trying to get that on the field, which delayed the production buildings for the Abbasid here.
I mean, ironically enough, though, if you look at the economy count, Gullyd3ck3l is actually ahead.
Yeah, able to take out 3 of those fishing ships. Will certainly take out the fishing ship from this dock once it goes down. And we do see Gullyd3ck3l adding fishing ships of his own to that northernmost pond.
This has been a really good play from Gullyd3ck3l, because this is so hard to do against Japanese, right? Normally they're the ones pushing your docks, and Gullyd3ck3l has pretty much just flipped that script and said, no, I'm the aggressor now. That said, KnockKnock is still definitely in this game. But you've got to wonder how useful the Shinobi have been on this map and whether they were the good choice or not. I wonder if... Because, like, I get why he didn't want to go for Kura Storehouse, right? Because you've got more than one pond. There's a lot of food there. Going for farms and the free wood you get from that seems kind of like a waste on this map and takes away what advantages you have. But at the same time, how much Shinobi advantage are you getting out of it either?
Yeah, I mean, Shinobis did a good job to hold that initial push, able to take out those military wing units. We do see some horsemen coming over, looking to torch down Gullyd3ck3l's dock on the east pond.
Look at the berries. Look at the berries. A Shinobi just killed 4 villagers right there. And is now walking away like a little murderer.
So I suppose at this point, we can probably say that
Shinobi
was the right choice. Getting a lot of value from him today.
That's kind of the crux. Right? We can sit here and wonder, is it going to get value? And it's really, can you get the value out of it? It's such a what if, because the Kura Storehouse is a very much a kind of static thing in that you know what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get the exact same out of it almost every game. The Shinobi are such a high variable, though. The variability of what they can do depends on how you use it.
Yeah, potentially big rewards if you can make that work. You do see the Shinobi stalling the dock on the easternmost pond, going to prevent that archer ship from coming out. Dock is losing HP right now. It is on fire on top of the disable there. And then on the southern pond, we got 2 docks down, 1 from each player. And KnockKnock coming out with an archer ship to secure that pond for himself. But Gullyd3ck3l going into a third there too.
Gullyd3ck3l has a third just on the corner. They're a little bit further. KnockKnock has secured himself that eco advantage now with the 4. They've each had 4 eco kills.
Yeah, this is one of those things about Four Lakes and just how APM intensive it can be when you're battling over all 4 pawns. We do see the naval units for Gullyd3ck3l on the southern pond finally out. Those horsemen are gonna have to retreat. You see a Springald ship coming out now for KnockKnock. Gonna try to secure. Got an archer and a Springald ship for both players there on the south farm. You know, a horseman coming in, try to find some economic damage. But spears will be there to head them off before they can get into the wood line.
Yeah, they're pretty low health too. They don't have a lot. We see a Springald ship going down.
Good connection
And
from the demo.
KnockKnock taking control, somehow taking control of the southern pond with 1 dock to 2. He's just holding on to it really well. The horseman just being pesky too.
Horseman looking to burn that down. You see Springald ship from KnockKnock alternating shots between the dock and Gullyd3ck3l's Springald ship.
I think it comes down to, I don't think Gullyd3ck3l has the eco to sustain both of those docks in the bottom. He's just getting outmassed still by KnockKnock. And as I say, that floating gate gets dropped down, and that's probably why saving up to go castle doesn't have the wood eco. Actually, no, sorry, that's KnockKnock. Gullyd3ck3l is just really kind of in a rough spot then.
Yeah, taking great fights, KnockKnock is on this southern pond here. Able to basically clear out all the naval units as they get created. And right as I say that, demo ship connects with the full health Springald. Do have a ram pushing in now to try to secure that southern pond. These ships not doing much at all to the ram.
This has got to be very demoralizing for Gullyd3ck3l right now. Your opponent has withheld, I mean, because you kind of went all in on that push, right? And you secured that top lake, but your opponent still has managed to get the castle age, and you are nowhere near.
Yeah, first Yodoshiro going into the stable. Do have
Now the military mass for Gullyd3ck3l is double that of KnockKnock, and we're seeing that on the land. The grand land parade beginning as he is coming into KnockKnock's base, getting a couple Vil picks right here.
Yeah, able to take out 2 of the wood line, forcing those Vils to run back to the safety of the town center. We'll see if KnockKnock chooses to go for a different wood line here, and he does, taking the one right to the north of his base. Meanwhile, we've got Horseman, Shinobi, and Mounted Samurai streaming into Gullyd3ck3l's base. You do see the Shinobi disabling that barracks. Now there's a massacre under the town center. Not enough room for all the Vils. 2 are down so far. Gonna lose another one.
Man, this has been a very scrappy game. Both sides taking hits. Little raiding parties on both sides. As while that's happening, KnockKnock's getting pushed in by Gullyd3ck3l in his base on his deer. But as the Mountain Samurai come out, there's just not enough camels to deal with it. Camel archers cannot deal with a massive Mounted Samurai, and that's what we're going to see more and more of. I'm pretty sure that Yodoshiro's got to be up in the stable, and that's just going to make this snowball very dangerously, because even those spears just don't do quite enough. And the archers really don't do anything to these Mounted Sams.
Yeah, they're deep in the wood line now. Another villager goes down. And Vil's trying to get into that TC, but it is full. Gullyd3ck3l trying to clean this up as fast as he can. Those 3 samurai going down before they can get many more villagers.
I would have
Meanwhile,
liked to
on the
see
front
KnockKnock
line,
pull 2 of those away.
yeah, Gullyd3ck3l losing a lot of military units right outside of KnockKnock's base, and as this has been going on, Gullyd3ck3l able to finally secure that southern pond with the ram.
The numbers still definitely favor Gullyd3ck3l. He's aging up now, so he's gonna have a chance to stabilize here, but that was a pretty rough exchange overall. Mounted Samurai are definitely scary. I really wish KnockKnock had saved 2 of those Mounted Samurais he had under the TC. He could have given up 1, I think, to that Spearman, then gotten the 2 out from underneath instead of going for an extra Vil kill or 2. I think the snowball could have been really dangerous right as Gullyd3ck3l hits castle, but instead he's kind of be down 2 Samurai. Still has a couple in the field, which are dangerous, but once Gullyd3ck3l hits castle, the crossbows are going to start coming out, and it's going to get really difficult.
Yeah, TC under pressure again. All the Vills able to jump inside this time. Mounted Samurai dealing with the spears. And a Mounted Samurai behind, also dealing with some Camel Archers coming in to pick off reinforcements. KnockKnock's going to lose quite a bit.
And that's the problem, is he's lost too much there. He really did not need to take that fight right then. Because now your advantage of being a castle age is pretty much extinguished and your opponent's catching back up. The economic number is fairly even, honestly, and Gullyd3ck3l's got a slight edge right now.
Yeah, right now, Gullyd3ck3l sitting happy on 3 of the pawns. KnockKnock just with a 1 to the west. Does have 1 relic coming in at this point. Do you see the TC getting upgraded to Daimyo at this point?
Yeah, and that's, I think, where KnockKnock needs to start thinking kind of long-term. Like, things have kind of reset at this point. You've done a lot of damage economically. You're kind of fairly even on eco right now. Gullyd3ck3l's got a bigger military, but your military, I would argue, is maybe a bit more valuable with the Mounted Samurai. But now that he's castled, now that you know that, you either got to inflict a bunch of damage right this second, or you need to find a new way of getting that win condition. I don't think he's going to be able to inflict quite enough damage. That said, there's not a lot under this town center. He's going to get a lot of picks here.
Not a lot in the way of defense. I just see 1 spear running over. Those crossbows still in production. A lot of Vills seem to be caught out of position here. KnockKnock going up to 16 eco kills at this point. See the
that's a really good trade.
Camel Archers trying to stay alive here. Got a Mounted Samurai on the gold as well.
The one thing I don't like is I don't like that KnockKnock's overcommitting on this again, though. Like, he did such a good job, but then losing those Mounted Samurai, he didn't need to take that fight, you know? He could have outran those Camel Archers and gone home and gotten a couple things himself and then remassed. He's thrown away his samurais a couple times, and it's what started as a great raid now ends up looking like maybe a decent, okay trade, but not something that's going to win you the game.
Yeah, certainly not going to be a game ender. Eco units tied up at this point, but military numbers certainly in the favor of Gullyd3ck3l. We do see a composition of Camel Archers, Spears, and Crossbows heading right down the middle of the map, looking to put some pressure on KnockKnock here, who's defending just some Mounted Samurais. A couple of normal Samurais will join the battle as well, but there are crossbows on the field here.
Yeah, this is a comp. Gullyd3ck3l's comp is a comp designed to deal with Mounted Samurai. That said, they're kind of out of position right now. Not enough of them. He needs to get this mass together. Some Mounted Samurai are scary in mass.
We do see a couple of Gulam getting added to the mix. Frontline defenders looking to absorb some of the Samurai's hits here. And the first Uma Bannerman on the field as well. Gonna buff
that
those
Bannerman
Samurai
going to make a difference here in this next fight.
Now another dive under the TC, but there are spears and crossbow here to defend.
This was, I think, a little overambitious by KnockKnock there. There was no indication that you could win that fight. Too many spears, too many crossbows. Even with the 15% buff, it's just not enough. And I don't know if I like the choice of going veteran samurai. I think I would have really preferred Onobugeisha in this scenario. Going against spears and crossbows, I think Onobugeisha should have been a far better choice, because samurai, they're getting countered by the crossbows just as much. Yeah, they can kind of shred through the spears, but the spears are just a distraction. They're not worth the time, right?
Yeah, the Mounted Samurai can deal with spears in small numbers pretty easily. We do see KnockKnock, though, making a play for the top pond. But that dock is going to be denied. Woolalo not going to go off. Gullyd3ck3l going to stop another relic from coming home. But KnockKnock's up to 3 at this point, and he's bringing another one in. Do you see another raid coming around the back of Gullyd3ck3l's base here?
One wood is, I won't say scarce in this map, but kind of randomly sparsed out a little bit. So finding a wood line and making Gullyd3ck3l uncomfortable is a great way of slowing down his production. This is what I wanted to see him use these Samurai for a bit more. It's kind of running through, idling eco, making his army chase him instead of being in his base. Maybe splitting that off and hitting in 2 spots at once eventually would be what KnockKnock needs to do to get into this game a little more. Because right now he's starting to lag behind economically. He really is.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's really working in KnockKnock's benefit, though, is just having all those relics. If you take a look at the resources per minute here, KnockKnock's looking okay.
No, and that's a good point. While he's been doing this, he has been grabbing those relics. I think there's only 1 left on the field. And see, this is what I was saying about the mounted samurai. There's too many crossbow, or for the regular samurai. The spears, they'll beat them in a head-to-head fight, but with some gulams mixed in and the crossbows behind, Onabugeisha would tear this up. Samurai are the wrong choice at this point. Like, I don't mind the mounted sams, but the infantry samurai, just not enough. They just got decimated right there.
Yeah, much better fight for Gullyd3ck3l there. Able to keep a majority of his units alive, and now KnockKnock in a bit of trouble here. Gonna be forced off of this gold mine. Vill's running away. Can't really hang around here, although some are switching over to berries. And you do see this Springle ship is harassing KnockKnock's villagers on deer near the northern pond.
Oh, that's sneaky. We are seeing some Onabugeisha come out. He's still making samurai as well. He needs a lot of Onabugeisha, and that would deal with this composition really well. He also could go for making a mango. Going for some siege would also work against Gullyd3ck3l's comp. All he's got is crossbows. Crossbows, spears. The men-at-arms are a little concerning. But there's not an overwhelming mass of them just yet.
Yeah, there's certainly massing up, though. Yeah, we got 10
I also
Gulam
wouldn't
on the
mind
field.
seeing Onimusha. Onimusha could be an okay choice here as well.
Gullyd3ck3l, though, looking for a final push, and KnockKnock sees it coming, knows he doesn't have the units to defend, and taps out. Great game to start off the day.
It was a great game. I think he just got stuck with the samurai. I think if he'd have gone for a quick Onabugeisha change right there when he took that bad fight before, I think he could have swung that the other way, because there were just a couple of gulams out. Most of it was spears and crossbows, and the Onabugeisha could have closed the distance with the mounted samurai to come in and reinforce behind. That would have been, I think, a much better, more effective comp, because going with the mounted samurai and samurai into spear crossbow feels like a recipe for disaster, and it kind of was.
Especially with so many crossbow on the field. Yeah. Real tricky. But you know what? The Shinobi, certainly the MVP of KnockKnock's team, keeping him in the game quite a bit.
Yeah, there was a moment where the Shinobi just got on the berries and just killed 4 without this opponent even noticing. I mean, nothing feels better than when you just get like a really good unit slaying villagers on the back spot, hidden, out of view, because everything else is so hectic on that map. Like we mentioned, that map's super APM taxing. And then just watching that thing just get 4 kills, like right there. Like, that's such a good swing. So much value for just 1 unit.
Yeah. Shinobi were basically able to single-handedly stop the initial military wing push. Were able to really harass one of the docks of Gullyd3ck3l. And yeah, able to get a good amount of Vil kills in the early game.